Mohammed asks a live question here. Can you share a few insights on what data points you consider the most valuable while iterating on product? This is a great question, and it obviously varies by the type of product. So let's go with a SaaS product first, and then we'll go to a consumer product.
Yeah, so the way I like to think about it is you can break it down into three sort of categories. The first category is very qualitative, but it's about the value that you deliver to your customers. And it's about crystallizing the articulation of that value in a way where you can say, this is what we do that our customers love. And then I can ask your customers and they say, this is what we love. And those two things are the same thing, which sometimes they're not. But that's really the secret, is that the customers, oh, this is what I push a button and a car shows up at my door. That's awesome. Or I can put up my screenshots and I can work with them really easily, and it's the best app in the world for doing. The second sort of category that we have is the metrics of your business. And those are really simple, straightforward, and you can go deep dive into SaaS metrics. And at the end of the day, it's how much does it cost to acquire a customer? How much do they pay you? How much do they use your product? How long do they stick around? And once we have those numbers, we can understand where the business is going to go relative to pretty close, like down to individual decimal.
We have people in the industry who specialize in doing late stage SaaS funding, and they do all kinds of formulas, and they will understand your business and customer base. Chamath was doing this at Social Capital. Sachs is doing it at Kraft. There were other people who specialized in this. They started coming up with their own formulas. How much money did you spend this year on your sales team versus your net new ARR? They're just figuring out all these kind of things. I'll talk a little bit about a ratio that really matters depending on the product, which is how many monthly active users do you have? Okay, great. We now know, let's just pick a number. You have 1 million people a month who use your product. Okay, now what percentage of the daily, what's the daily active user to monthly active user? In other words, are people coming once a month to check their bill or to use the product to watch one TV show or something? Or are they on Snapchat or TikTok every night for 4 hours? How many sessions are they opening up? So those ratios in a consumer product become really interesting to understand exactly how sticky is a term people used to use, but just the level of engagement. A fancy term. Engagement is a fancy term. Stickiness is a fancy term for the number of minutes, how often people use your product. And you can do all kinds of interesting ratios. And if people use your product more, that generally indicates product market fit. They're getting delighted because people are so busy that to get their attention is a big win. So if you were Calm, the meditation app, and people were using it 3 times a month, the chances of them churning down the road would be less than if somebody used it 3 times a year. And if they used it 3 times a week, maybe that person churns less. So that's where getting users to use your product more helps. What's an example of how somebody could increase usage of a product? Streaks. There's a thing, you've done this many days in a row of fasting in your fasting app, of working out on your Peloton, of sending a message to another person in Snapchat, or doing meditations in Calm. So just doing something as simple as that, stupid feature, you're on a 5-day streak, you're on a 7-day streak, could greatly increase the engagement, and that's a sign of strength. Those are but some of the important metrics. And then you will create metrics inside your company to motivate your team. And boy, just be careful with incentives, because if you motivate your team on daily active users too much, then they might do things to goose that number that are unnatural. So you don't want to have unnatural acts like firing off too many notifications, because then people will turn off notifications because you're being too annoying. So make sure you don't motivate your team too much and put them on tilt to do something unnatural, I think is important.
Yeah, don't.
Did we miss anything there with metrics?
There's a whole world, right?
Yeah,
books and
but I mean, building on it
books.
from there, we talked about consumer, we talked about SaaS. Did I miss any? Is there anything missing there?
I mean, growth. I think one of the things that you always have to come back to, the sort of third category in my book, is growth, and understanding growth across your cohorts of users and across your channels, and down as incremental as you can possibly get is a critical part of any business, because if you ain't growing, you be dead.
Basically, our industry is about growth. If you can't grow, VCs might take a meeting with you because a friend begged them to or whatever. But if you are growing, conversely, you email any VC, any angel, any seed fund, and you're growing 20% or more for 3 months or more, you're getting a meeting. Let me say that one more time. If you're growing 20% or more for 3 or more months, that means you doubled your business in but 3 to 4 months, right? The rule of 72.
Mm-hmm.
Divide a time period, divide a growth rate into the number 72. That's the time period. If you're growing 25% a week, that means every 3 weeks you're doubling. If you're growing 25% a year, every 3 years you're doubling. If you're growing 25% a month, every 3 months. If you can show you're doubling every 3 to 6 months, you're going to get a meeting. And it really is that simple. It doesn't matter how ugly your deck are. It is how ugly you are, how ugly your clothes are. You got a big pasta stain. If you showed up with a pasta stain and spaghetti down your white press shirt and you look like a hobo and you got 30% month over month growth for 3 or 4 months in this town, you're getting the meeting and you're probably getting the check.
Here's the check. I'm ready.
Here's the check.
Yep.
They'll knock over their grandmother to get you the check before another VC. Over the past few years, everyone has been talking about no-code. And one of the first no-code web app tools was Bubble empowers people to design and launch their own apps, marketplaces, or tools without needing coding skills or pricey engineers. Bubble offers a digital editor and cloud-hosted platform for as low as $29 a month. Users can build pretty much any complex web app, from marketplaces to social networks to SaaS tools and more. Why is Bubble so great for founders? Because you can spend 10 times less on building out your MVP. Bubble utilizes drag and drop elements in their visual editor so users can quickly and easily build powerful apps. Go from idea to launchable product in a matter of days or weeks, not months. And they handle all the annoying stuff like deployment and hosting, so you can focus on your product and customers. Bubble has over 1 million users worldwide and enables over 1 billion in business volume. Their founder and CEO, Emmanuel, was on episode 1021 back in January of 2020, so you can check that out if you want to learn more. And Bubble is offering 1 month free on any of their paid plans, ranging from their personal plan of $29 a month to their production plan of $529 a month. But act fast, because they're only offering this deal for the first 500 redemptions. Head to bubble.io/twist and snag one of those 500 coupons.